This episode of the Bad Crypto Podcast is brought to you by eToro. Get a $100,000 virtual currency portfolio to test your mad trading skills and find out how to get some free bad coin socks. Visit badco.in/eToro for details.
In this episode of Bad Crypto, Travis wrote the teaser. We have with us today Matty Greenspan, who's the senior research analyst from eToro, to talk all things trading. Boom. Episode 320. Here it is.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
Who's bad?
And welcome to the Bad Crypto Podcast with bad teasers written by Bad Travis. That sucks.
He's like, why don't you try your hand and write a teaser? I'm like, okay. My first teaser was even shorter. Here's my first teaser. Welcome to Bad Crypto. Matty Greenspan, episode 320. Boom.
Mr. Travis Wright, the lazy man teaser writer, available for weddings and funerals of all kinds. And welcome to the Bad Crypto Podcast. We're glad that you guys are here. And I don't want to diminish how awesome today's interview is by your crappy, sucky teaser.
Yeah, sorry about that. No, Matty is great. I really enjoy this guy. He's funny. He's insightful. He's got a lot to say. And we were grateful to have him on the show. Really cool dude.
Well, let's hear what he's got to say then. Here we go. I am not a financial advisor.
I don't think I'm a financial advisor either. I'm
pretty sure you're not.
I need some financial advice.
Well, that's why it's a good idea that we have somebody who is licensed to ill with the financial advice right here with us right now. Today, he is the senior market analyst at eToro, which you guys know. eToro is a great sponsor of the show and one of the world's biggest cryptocurrency exchanges and stock exchanges for trading as well. He's a licensed portfolio manager, and his name is Matty Greenspan. Matty, welcome to the realm of Bad Crypto.
Thanks a lot for having me, Joel and Travis. I appreciate the opportunity.
And welcome to your child that I hear in the background too.
Yeah, sorry about that. That's what we get. Is 4 months old, and he's still learning when to go to sleep.
So, but does he know when to buy Bitcoin? That's what I want to know.
He does. All my kids know how to hodl. I got the Bitcoin book from the Bitcoin rabbi. We're good. My daughter has me read it to her all the time.
Oy vey, Shamir. You're also the author of the Complete Guide to FinTech Investing. So you're actually qualified and licensed in the EU to talk about this stuff. And we're looking forward to learning some from you today because we don't know anything. We're bad.
Yeah, no problem. But I would like to preface this with everything that I say here should not be considered trading or financial advice. It's just the usual disclaimers that we got to put on there. That's straight from SciSec.
That's great. Where exactly is this book located? Where can people find this book?
It's eToro.tw/book with a capital B.
Oh, eToro.tw?
Yeah, it's a short link.
TW.
That's my favorite one. I love this one.
That's you. You're the TW. How did you get into this? Is this something you went to university to learn, or did you go to school for something else and ended up in fintech?
I am proud to say that I have no university degree whatsoever. I went to college for a while. I got really good grades in the beginning, and then I just zonked off towards the end. I've been in financial markets pretty much my entire life. My grandfather is a self-made billionaire. So, business is a regular topic at the dinner table in our family. I've been paper trading, mostly gold and silver since I was about 12, 13 years old, and working in various online brokers since 2008. So I had front row tickets to the financial collapse and stuff like that. So, yeah, there we go.
I love that. What'd you go to college for? I went for a while.
There you go.
Great answer. So, you are a market analyst, right? You are doing research in the market all the time. Now, we're looking at this over the last couple of weeks. You know, we're sitting around 10, and all of a sudden the bottom fell out. We even broke down past 8,000. Like, why is that? Did you see that coming? And does it have anything to do maybe with Google's quantum supremacy thing that was coming up? Is any of this related?
So yeah, there was a bit of FUD in the market at the time. Yeah, I had anticipated this. Actually was talking about a possible breakout to the downside since beginning of September, really. I think that what really pushed it under the line was the Backed launch, because people had really high hopes that Backed was going to come out of the gate swinging and that Wall Street was going to fully embrace Bitcoin. And then they didn't. The volumes on the first day, second day they were dismal. I mean, we're talking about, 100. They were talking about less than $1 million per day, where, the CME futures, which are cash settled futures that we've seen in Bitcoin since December 2017, they're trading $300 million a day. So I think that a lot of people that had been buying the rumor for Backed and waiting for that Backed launch, seeing, just kind of this underwhelming volume, I think that they dumped on that. Yeah, there was some other FUD regarding the Google supercomputers. There was some FUD regarding hash rate and stuff like that. But I think that the main driver, other than the technical analysis that we mentioned, was the Backed launch.
Now, originally that Backed thing, when they were talking about it, they were talking about maybe doing payments for Starbucks and maybe doing all this other stuff. So they had so much hype coming out, and then they said, okay, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do Bitcoin futures instead, which is like, it just seemed like it was kind of a weird thing, right?
I don't think it's instead. I think it's just they were trying to do several things at once, and this was the first thing they were able to get out. So I'm pretty sure that those type of things are still in the cards. I mean, they have Starbucks and I believe the other one, they have them listed on their website, if I'm not mistaken. So okay. They're in progress. They're a work in progress, no doubt.
Kind of like me. I'm a work in progress.
Aren't we all?
So just, from your personal opinion, then, we know the halving is coming up next May, and typically that drives Bitcoin interest and has, at least historically, taken us to all-time highs. So what do you think, or when do you personally believe we're going to see the Bitcoin breakout? Is it just going to be the approaching halving, or do you see something else being the catalyst?
Yeah, the halving is no doubt is huge, but anybody holding Bitcoin doesn't really have a lot to worry about. I mean, you got to realize the very finite supply. Up to 21 million coins that will ever be produced. Out of that, 17 million have already been produced, and then we talk about another 4.5 that have been lost. There's a very limited supply of Bitcoin, and that's ultimately what drives the desire and drives the price up over the long term. And what's going to push it on the short term? Those type of things come and go. We'll never really know until the day it strikes. But the idea is that anybody with a diversified portfolio is going to want to have some Bitcoin in there.
That's great. We all need a little bit more Bitcoin in there for sure. It's like one of those weird things. It's like if everybody in the world had the same amount of Bitcoin, like it'd be 0.0024 something a Bitcoin. So like that's not going to happen. So if you've got some Bitcoin stacking up those Satoshis, that's a really, really important thing to even consider. Like it's probably a good idea to have some. Like I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm saying probably it'd be nice to have at least 1/10 of a Bitcoin in your portfolio, because if it's going to be $1 million or whatever down the road, that's going to be a big win. So maybe what is your thoughts, like long term? Like if you see Bitcoin down the road 5-10 years from now, like what kind of price action are we going to be looking at?
Well, it's always impossible to say. I mean, long term, what's going to happen? I mean, I always stick to my my price prediction, which is very flexible, and I believe firmly with a 99% accuracy that Bitcoin will be anywhere between $100 and $1 million within the next 5 years.
$100 or $1 million?
Yeah, with anywhere in between. Yeah.
Anywhere in between. Could be $100. Wow. So at least we're not going to break down under $100.
Yeah. Well,
Probably
McAfee
not.
just doubled down again yesterday. He said 50,000, I think, by the end of the year, and still said $1 million by the end of
How can you
2020.
double down on cutting off your dick? Like you've already said you're going to cut it off.
Double the dick.
How are you going to double it? But cut somebody else's dick off too.
It's called double dong.
It's what you do with it after you cut it off.
I mean, at this point, is it even possible? Is there, what percentage possibility would you say that there is if you were a bookie, okay, to say that Bitcoin is going to hit 1 million before the end of 2020?
I don't know. I checked the odds. There's I think LedgerX has like an odds calculator. I checked the odds a while back. It was an 80% chance that it was not going to happen. So according to the betting markets, which is what you're talking about, there's probably about a 20% chance that it's going to happen.
20%? That's still pretty high.
Well, that's according to the options markets on LedgerX.
Where do you, on LedgerX, that's where you find that?
Yep. They have this tool where you can say, percent chance that Bitcoin is going to be X price by X date. It's not always the most accurate, but it's the best depiction that we can get according to what people think at the moment.
Very interesting. So now you have this complete guide to fintech that's available there on eToro. And one of the things that you said that people will understand is understanding the plague that stops investors from making money. Now, a lot of investors and traders out there, they're not experts at this. They don't necessarily know how the markets work. They just know they want to make money. So what is that plague? How do we stop that? And what is getting in the way of people from making money from trading?
Well, I think it's a lot of the time it's fear, but a lot of the time it's also the tools are a bit complicated, right? And people get scared when they see things like, chart analysis, and if they're not familiar with that. I mean, that's kind of like eToro's vision, and it has been since 2007, is just kind of open up the financial markets for everyone. It looked a bit different in 2007. Of course, we're talking about extreme gamification. So the eToro platform was like kind of a downloadable platform where we had even a little bit racist. I mean, it was like a picture of Uncle Sam, and he was racing like a sumo wrestler, where like Uncle Sam would be the U.S. dollar, or you betting against the yen, for example. But these days, we strive to make it as simple as possible for everybody to just get in and start to trade. And I can understand for some people, even that's a little bit difficult. But what you can do is you can copy other people. So you can see people who are doing well in their account, and you can just copy their investment. And I think that's an excellent way to start. It's kind of like training wheels for traders. So you can get in, watch what people are doing, and that's just the best way to learn something new.
So typically somebody who's been in fintech for some time is not just into crypto. I mean, you might be in precious metals, you might be looking at stocks or Forex. Where else are you paying attention to right now?
At the moment, I only have about 12% of my overall portfolio in crypto assets. And that's even aggressive for some people, because crypto is a very high risk asset class. So yeah, I've definitely got some currencies and some commodities, some stocks. There are a few investment trends that I feel that are defining of our generation. Number one is renewable energy. And I mean, we see that playing out on the grand stage. I mean, even that video of Greta Thunberg going viral, I think that, obviously everybody had an opinion. There were critics and whatnot. But I think that shined a big spotlight on one of the main debates of our generation. And as far as investing or investors are concerned, we can actually vote for which companies we want to succeed. We vote with our money. It's not just about voting. In many cases, I believe there is a lot more room for growth and room for profit taking in renewable energy rather than old school oil industry, right? So
I should buy a nuclear reactor? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, if you can afford one, yeah, sure. And if you want to make sure you know where to place it, there are plenty of stocks that are dealing with solar energy, wind energy, things like that. We've got a whole slew of them on eToro that you can invest in, and I believe that there's a lot more room for growth there because, in oil, let's say oil exploration or whatever, they're kind of tapped out. They've kind of maxed out their resources and their stock prices are kind of peaked. So you can get a lot more returns doing some impact investing. The second trend that I'm watching right now is the emergence of the marijuana industry.
I was just about to ask. My next question was going to be about the cannabis industry because it seems like it's taken off worldwide. I mean, it's legal in more states in America than it is not legal in now. And so it seems to be taken off. And so, yeah, I'm really curious about this. Which companies are you looking at in that particular space? And what are the key identifiers that you look at to say, this one might be a winner down the road?
Well, excellent question, Travis. It just sparked my interest very recently. I was in California and I'd seen the virtual revolution. I grew up in California and, scoring weed was something completely different back then, obviously. And nowadays you come in, you show them your ID and they just like let you in the door, 30 strains. There's at
the
least
Willy Wonka of marijuana. You're like, what? Look at me. Like, what is that? Like, what is this? What does this do? What is that?
It's exactly what it is. It was a revolution for me. And I go to Amsterdam all the time, and California is basically putting Amsterdam to shame. They've got
way different. Amsterdam's way different because it's
a bar,
it's a bar, but also in Europe though, it's like they mix their cannabis with tobacco.
Oh yeah,
and it's just horrible, right?
Well,
this is not what I wanted.
That's the question right there. There's a lot of cannabis companies out there, but some people are saying, screw the small companies, go for big tobacco because they're the ones that are going to be putting out, to the masses. They already have the distribution channels. You're shaking your head no. Go ahead and
Monty
explain why.
is saying no.
Yeah. No. So they're not even looking at that right now.
Philip Morris isn't doing.
They've been looking more at e-cigarettes than they have at there are companies that kind of own the entire production line from harvest to the countertop. And just the way that, Travis was saying, it's legal now in more states than it is not, but it's still illegal at the federal level. And that's the key. That's why the big tobacco companies are scared to touch it right now, because they would be risking the rest of their business operations. So that's why those who are bold enough to to go for it at this stage, I believe that the more, right now, other states are looking at California and they're looking at where it's legal and they're salivating, right? They're looking at all of the revenues that these people are bringing in. They're looking at the crime that's no doubt coming down because people don't have to go to a shady drug dealer to get their weed. And and obviously people can just drive from state to state. There's no hard borders around the United States, right? So they have every incentive to go fully legal as well. So the more states that legalize it, they're just going to put more and more pressure on the federal government to go legal. And once they do, that just opens up a whole new stream of revenue. It makes the entire industry legal. That's when, all of the big tobacco companies will start to put their foot in. But I believe that some of these smaller companies are already going to have a nice foothold.
Yeah, it's so crazy when you're looking at that and you go in, you go, okay, I'll have this and I'll have that. And they're like, and I'm doing the math in my head. I'm like, okay, that was 60, that was $100, so $100. And they're like, oh, that'll be $153. I'm like, what the hell? Like so much, so many taxes when it comes to buying that stuff. And also when it comes back to the crypto game, because we are bad crypto, we're not bad cannabis. But or bad weed. We don't want to be the bad weed podcast. But that is one of the problems is that a lot of these dispensaries have just they're taking in cash money and they got an ATM machine, so they've got all this cash. And sure would be nice. The banks don't allow them to have bank accounts, and crypto is kind of a nice thing there. So maybe let's take this back to the business at hand in eToro. So let's say somebody's brand new and they jump on eToro. We've got a lot of people from Bad Crypto already have joined eToro. What are some of the key things they can do right when they get started to set them off to be successful? Like how do they maybe research other traders that are doing great stuff? What are some of those tips and tricks that folks that are joining eToro need to know to set themselves up for the biggest success?
Yeah, so we'd make it as simple as possible. I mean, on the sidebar, you can click the copy people button, and that'll show you kind of the top traders at the moment. You can see, people by risk score, for example. Everybody has a risk score from 1 to 10. I would say look for people that are between, let's say, 3 and 5. Maybe 6 is getting a little high. 10 is basically somebody who's just leveraging themselves entirely, and then 1 is somebody who's probably not trading very much. So look for the kind of middle of the road, and look for consistency. And then you can go over to the trade markets button. I know that you guys are in the United States right now, so we have only a crypto only offering, but very soon we plan to open up to other markets as well. So number one thing that I would say is diversify yourself as much as possible. For any trader or for any investor, the more you diversify, the better off you're going to be. You're basically adding strength to your portfolio by splintering out and getting interested in a lot of different things.
I heard from somebody else on the eToro team that U.S. copy trading is going to start in mid-October, right? We've been talking about it to our listeners that you've got copy trading for over 11 million users in Europe and the other side of the world, but explain how copy trading works.
Okay, so copy trading is the simplest form of trading. It evolved in-house in eToro about the same time as Facebook and Twitter were taken off. We just kind of had a push from our clients who wanted to speak with other traders to see their portfolio and stuff like that. So it's pretty simple. You just find somebody, you look at their portfolio, you can see how risky they are and how consistent. You can see all of their stats and what they're holding. And then there's a blue button that says copy. You click the button and then you choose the amount that you want to allocate to them. So if you allocate $1,000 to a specific trader, then that $1,000 will then start mirroring that person's positions exactly. So if he's got $100,000 and he invests 10%, right, then that 10% will go into your portfolio as well.
So will I be able to see, okay, this person, username, most awesome trader ever, has a certain amount of returns over what, 1 month, 6 months, a week? Can I pick the term of their, and then how it works?
Yeah, exactly. My best recommendation would just be to explore. On the stats page directly, you'll see a month over month. So every single month, what that they've been trading, what their performance was during that month, and then that aggregates into a yearly. And then we have something that's called a charts, which is a copy simulation, which says if I'd invested $10,000 in this person over X amount of time, this is how much I'd have right now. So you can choose the period of time, and then you'd see how much that $10,000 would be worth right now.
Nice. That's a tool. Great. Nobody else has got that. I think it's pretty baller. I'm looking forward to seeing how that works because I am a U.S. user.
Yeah, it's been extremely popular in Europe and especially in Asia. As you can see, 11 million registered users. Don't lie.
That's great. So people can actually check out your portfolio, etoro.com/people/Mati Greenspan. Mati, M-A-T-I, Greenspan.
You can make it simple, Travis. It's etoro.tw/Mati.
M-A-T-I?
Oh. Capital M. M-A-T-I.
Capital M.
Travis, I think yours, Travis, should be etoro.tw/TW.
I'll make
That'd
it
be great
right now, man.
Oh, that's perfect. That's very good. So we're excited about this. Now, where do I see where folks have their risk? So I'm looking at your profile right now, but I don't see necessarily where your risk number is.
So there's basically a square so if you're looking at my portfolio, there'll be several tabs. So there's the feed, the stats, portfolio, and chart. So you want to go over to stats. The first thing you'll see is the month-over-month performance. As you can see, September was not very good for me.
Yeah, you sucked really bad.
Yeah, September, man, you have no idea.
You killed it in February, though. February,
exactly.
March, April, May, June, you were really good.
I'm still
Sucked up
doing
September, though, brother.
pretty good. And yeah.
But you did have a great February through like July, so there's that.
Yeah. So I'm still up 11% on the year, which I think is pretty decent for any portfolio manager. Even though even we still got a few months left to pull it up.
I got a question. So I'm looking at your 2017 though. Oh my God, you killed it, man! In January 2017, you were up 73%, and then 62%, and 61%, and 32%. Like
crypto,
you killed it.
Crypto.
Only 1 month. Yeah, crypto, Bitcoin took off that, man. All those
Bitcoin, XRP. Oh my gosh, there were so many Dash, Litecoin, all of them.
That's awesome. So I notice here that now I see now that I'm looking at your portfolio here, which is eToro.tw/Mati, MATI, and you can see your risk. So your risk is between 4 and 5. So you're a pretty good guy to pay attention to. That's one of the things I think is so cool about the eToro platform is the fact that you can see traders and investors and research analysts like Mati out there that are doing research and finding these great companies. And then you can look at their portfolio, see what they're weighing in on, and then do your own due diligence and dive down the rabbit hole and find all kinds of cool projects that you could potentially invest in. I think this is fabulous. That's one of the reasons why Joel and I were so excited about jumping on with eToro.
Just imagine all of the influencers, right, of social media who talk about stocks and crypto. Imagine they all had their own platform, open book. You could see everything, their stats, what they're holding, where they're long, where they're short, when they're making a trade. You see it all right in front of you.
Yeah, show me what you're made of. Don't just talk. Like,
put your money where your mouth is.
The trades. If you guys haven't signed up for your eToro account yet, what are you waiting for? badco.in/eToro. And thanks, Mati, for joining us today and sharing some about investing. And as promised, here on the other side of the interview, we know that you guys would enjoy that interview. We did. And make sure you check out Mati on eToro, eToro.tw/Mati, MATI. And of course, by now, if you haven't downloaded the eToro app, what are you waiting for? badco.in/eToro. That's spelled ETORO. badco.in/eToro. Do it. Give it a try. It's pretty comprehensive. And now with them rolling out copy trading, I mean, I'm a lazy trader, Travis. You're a lazy teaser writer. I'm a lazy trader. Like if I can go on there and see that, oh, here's this dude that is consistently pulling in 20%, trading crypto. I'm like, I'll have what he's having. Here's my money, and just copy with one click what he's doing and make me that 20%.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, and Mati, if you look at his history, like 2017, he killed it. 2018, he had a great year. He's only had a couple of bad months overall. Great dude to sort of follow to see, like, who is this guy following? Because, I mean, he is overseas, so he can do stocks. So you can just kind of watch folks and what stocks they do. You can't actually buy stocks in America on eToro yet. That might be coming. I'm not sure. But you could use eToro just as your own sort of do your own research platform to see what are these best traders doing and buying and what are they looking at. And then you can go over to E-Trade or wherever else to do some of that other stuff in America. But eventually, hopefully, they'll have that. But really cool stuff. I mean, there's over 11 million traders there that are discussing trading. They're discussing charts, and they're discussing all things crypto. And make sure to create your account today at badco.in/eToro. Make sure to deposit at least $50, then spend that $50, and then boom, we'll send you some socks.
Just like that, socks. In fact, they'll just magically appear on your feet.
Yeah, it's the most amazing thing ever. We're wizards over here at Bad Crypto, in fact.
Oh, dude, I have to tell you this and our listeners. Of course, World CryptoCon is coming up at the end of the month, and we have an official Bad Coin costume that my brother is coming from Chicago this year, and he is going to be wearing the Bad Coin costume. It is so hilarious.
I've seen you rock it, dude. It is, it's surprisingly portable. I mean, this thing is really big, but it can get really small.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Well, it can be really small and grow really big, hopefully.
That's also what she also said that.
Oh, that's true. That's good. He says really good things.
Hopefully we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys in Vegas. If there's one event to come meet us this year, this is it. We're going to be there for the entire Vegas blockchain week. I mean, there is a Litecoin summit. There's an EOS event going on. Charlie Shrem's got an event. Michael Turpin's Coin Agenda's got an event. It's all concluding with the World CryptoCon. And Travis, I'm going to be competing in the Fortnite game event that's taking place at the eSports arena at the the Luxor
No,
Hotel.
that's gonna be awesome. You know what, my son, he just turned 18, or he turns 18 on the 17th, and he's like, oh man, I want to do that. I want to. We're debating on how that would all work, because we got so much stuff to do with Bad Crypto and all these different events, but he'd really love to be a part of that. I know.
Yeah, well, I suck at it, so I'll lose quickly. But I imagine there will be others there who are playing that suck just as much as I do. So maybe I'll get one or two good shots in there. Anyway, get your tickets for World CryptoCon. Go to badco.in/WCC, and you'll get $100 off any ticket when you go through that link. And we are going to have a meetup. Still need to determine exactly when that's going to be. But if you're going to be in Vegas for the event, then we want to meet you.
We do. We want to meet you guys, because this is going to be a fun event. If you're in the area, and if you see us walking around, make sure to come up to us and tell us that you are a fan of Bad Crypto. You listen to us. Well, I mean, I always have a pocket full of stickers. I don't know about you, Mr. Joel Comm, but let's make sure we got pockets full of stickers to give folks if they run into us. Maybe we'll have some bad coins. Actually, we don't have very many bad coin socks. So those bad coin socks will be gone by then.
Yeah, no, there won't be.
There won't be. That up to get those socks. Yeah.
Yeah. But we will have some bumper stickers, right? That we bought for some bad coin from one of our listeners that say coin maximalist on them.
That's true. That's good stuff. Yeah. I love it, man. It's going to be a great time. We really look forward to seeing you guys at the event. And hey, by the way, if you're a crypto project and you're going to be coming to the event, or you're thinking about coming to the event, Token Tank still has some spots available. You might want to check that out.
Are you sure? Are you sure about that?
I think they do. Yeah, we've got a couple spots, like one or two spots.
It's a great opportunity to get exposure in front of a very interested audience. badco.in/token tank is where you would go to learn more about that. So get your project out in front of people. And of course, if you do run into us in Las Vegas, walk up to us and say, "Stay bad."
Who's bad?
The Bad Crypto Podcast is a production of Bad Crypto LLC. The content of the show, the videos, and the website is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. You shouldn't make any decisions as to finances, investing, trading, or anything else based on this information without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional financial advisor. Please understand that the trading of Bitcoins and alternative cryptocurrencies have potential risks involved. Anyone wishing to invest in any of the currencies or tokens mentioned on this podcast should first seek their own independent professional financial advisor.